Hey there, welcome to day 325 of the Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and today we are going to talk, as part of No Nonsense November, lessons learned the hard way. So yesterday I sat down and I started brainstorming lessons that I've learned in my life the hard way. And by the hard way, I mean that I had to personally have an experience, usually a negative or an unpleasant one, but not always, in order to learn the lesson, to have it hit home and actually stay with me so that I didn't make that same mistake again. These are examples of mistakes I made in the first place, and there's a whole lot more, but I'm going to just share the ones that popped into my head at first. There's no shortage of them, right? Lessons that we learn the hard way. I think because those lessons stick with us more than lessons we learn through other people. Hopefully, and we're going to talk about and go through a list of those things that I learned easy way tomorrow, but today let's talk about the hard way. So what are some of the lessons I've learned? These are in no particular order. They're just how they came out of my brain. So maybe there's an order in the priority that or the strength at which I feel like I learned them, but maybe not. So our action item today is going to be to share, think about one lesson that you learned through personal experience that has helped you moving forward in your life. Share that in the comments below today. That's our action item. That's all it is. So here are some of mine. Please don't judge me for what they are, because we all have our own journey and our own lessons to learn. One, if it's to be, it's up to me. Absolutely, positively learned through a lot of experiences, many health challenges and things like that, that if I was going to get better, if I was going to be okay, if I was going to create the life I want, I was going to have to actively participate, take responsibility for that, and take the actions that were required in order to get what I want. And that's part of what this challenge is all about, getting our goals by doing things every day to move us toward what we want. Be me, be yourself. Everybody else is taken in that. When we are truly and uniquely ourselves, when we embrace that, there's no competition in the world. That is a lesson I learned the hard way. For a long time, like everybody else, I watched what everybody else was doing. I compared myself to others. And guess what? When we compare ourselves to others, number one, we're never seeing the whole picture. We never see what really is going on with another person. And so we're not comparing apples to apples. We're comparing ourselves to some idea or what we think is going on in someone else's life. And it usually isn't an accurate picture. And so it took me a couple times of doing that and feeling bad to figure out that that was not in my best interest. So I stopped doing it. We are 100% responsible for ourselves. And again, I've had a lot of experiences, especially health challenges, where in my 20s, I was actually bedridden for a couple of years because I had super bad systemic problems with arthritis, inflammation, kidneys. My eyes started going bad in my 20s, things like that, or having inflammation in them and needing shots in my eyeballs and crazy things like that. And I finally got fed up with not getting answers, the doctors not really helping me, not working together to figure out what was actually going on. And I just quit cold turkey, doing everything. And that's when I realized that the medications that the different functions were giving me were colliding and not working for me at all. And they were actually making me feel worse than if I didn't take any of them. And so that's when I took control and 100% responsibility for my health. And I started to actually get better. Up until then, I was, expecting the doctors to grant me their wisdom and cure me. And it wasn't going to happen. And when I had the aha moment that it wasn't going to happen, I knew that the only way things were going to change and I was going to ever create the life I wanted was if I personally did something about it. Because as much as our doctors care about us, they also care about the hundreds and hundreds of other people that they see every year. And there's only so much that can go around, and there's only so much attention they can spend on each of our individual cases. So I had to become my own greatest science experiment and work through that, which, since I'm a science engineering nerd, that was right up my alley. Besides being 100% responsible for ourselves, the only way to lose is to give up or quit, right? The only way to fail at anything is to throw in the towel and say, I quit. I'm not going to do this anymore. And that isn't necessarily losing, because sometimes there are things that we absolutely positively need to quit. And I'm one of those bulldog type people that hangs on for dear life, even after things should be let go of. So that's another lesson I had to learn the hard way. Aim higher than you can even possibly imagine, because what we think we can achieve in our lifetime is way less than what we can actually achieve. Your best investment is always in yourself. I learned that one a long time ago too. My best investment was always in educating, being curious, and studying things that were of interest to me. They've always panned out to be the best investments that I've made. People always show you exactly who they are. This one I learned the hard way too, by hooking up with people that were the wrong people for me. Not that they might not be good people for other people, but they were the wrong people for me to partner with. They were the wrong person for me to marry, etc. And the thing is, people always show us exactly who they are, but we have to be willing to open our eyes and see what they're showing us. Sometimes we get blinded by love, or blinded by money, or blinded by opportunities that we think are out there, and we make a bad choice because we won't even let ourselves see what's actually going on about there. One of my favorite places to think about this is on social media. When people say things on social media, they are showing us exactly who they are. If they say mean things and rude things and judgmental, crazy things, guess what? That's who they are. And if we take that with a grain of salt, haters don't bother us anymore. What you put out into the world, what you give, you get back. So you might as well put good into the world if you want to have a good life. Because if you put bad, mean, jealousy, anxiety, doubt, worry, fear into the world, that's what you're going to get back. Learned that one a little bit the hard way as well, but I figured out pretty early on that it feels a whole lot better to give value than to get things. Whoever says a number first in negotiations loses. That's a lesson I learned, not the hard way, but actually that should go on my other list, because that's when I learned through studying negotiations and being involved in a lot of negotiations throughout my lifetime. But it's very true. And the other thing about negotiations is that everything, absolutely everything, is really negotiable and subject to our understanding, our reality, our definition of things. It's why I do idioms so often, because I always want to be reminding myself that I decide what something means, but then so does someone else based on their experience and their perspective. Yeah, you get out of things what you put into them. I'm sure my kids were so sick of me telling them that about school. You get out of experiences what you put into them. You get out of life what you put into it. You get out of school, you get out of a sport, you get out of a hobby what you put into it. Treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, I think we're supposed to learn that in like preschool or kindergarten. They didn't have preschool when I was little. Maybe they did. I just had a stay-at-home mom, so I didn't go to preschool. But I think that's, you know, it's called the golden rule for a reason, and we should probably decide we're going to follow it. Or guess what? Treat people not the way you want to be treated, and then when you start getting treated the same way, you'll learn that lesson yourself. Continuous improvement, to me personally, is a core value and is critical. I believe that we are ever evolving, continuously improving beings, and that is our purpose in life. I mean, chased after my purpose for a couple of decades, trying to figure out, well, why am I here? Why am I not super talented at anything? Why don't I have massive artistic ability like my aunt, or musical ability like my cousin? Well, because I don't. That's not why I'm here. But we have to figure out why we're here, what our purpose is. And it always boils down to, you're supposed to be the best possible version of yourself, building on your strengths. People are greater than things and stuff. Learned that one a little bit the hard way as well through my divorce. Got to pay attention to all the areas and aspects of your life. And this one I definitely learned the hard way. I spent a lot of years chasing finances, money, my careers, and success, only to find that if you totally ignore your physical well-being and your health, and you don't eat right, you don't exercise, you don't take care of yourself in a somewhat intentional way, you can drop dead. You can actually work yourself to death if you're focusing on the wrong things. So that's probably my biggest lesson learned the hard way. Luckily, I'm still here to talk about it. Our secrets are not really secrets, but most people think that they are, right? Marketing is huge about the secret this and the secret that, the secret formula to this, the secret framework. Guess what? None of it's secrets. It's all out there in the universe and the world for us to discover. It's just how quickly do you want to discover it, and how quickly do you want to get results in different areas and aspects of your life. You know, the secret weight loss formula, the secret skincare regimen, whatever. There's secret everything, but none of it's really secrets. It's all out there. Only you can choose anything, right? It's up to you to decide if you want to change, if you want to grow, if you want to adopt who you want to be, right? What identity you want to live by, and what legacy you want to leave. Reality is personal, meaning My reality is probably different than your reality. It was definitely different than my ex-husband's reality. It's different than my kids' reality, my granddaughter's reality. Our reality is unique to us based on our experiences. And I learned this one the hard way. Super bad lessons, not bad lessons, but thinking that other people think like we do is one of the biggest pitfalls we can fall into, because they don't. Everybody thinks differently based on their unique experiences. And it's got nothing to do with race, age, anything. It's just we're all different. And one of the coolest things is that we are all different. And if we embrace our differences and understand that that's what makes the world an awesome place, we get a lot further than if we try to feel bad about why we're different than other people. We each decide to do what it takes to do what's right for us. And that's how we get what we want in life, right? We step out of our comfort zone, and only we can step out of our comfort zone, right? Nobody can. Well, sometimes we get blown out of it and pushed out of it because things happen in our lives, like the COVID pandemic, for example. That pushed a whole lot of people out of their comfort zone. And then it pushed a whole lot of people into hermit mode, which is never a good thing, right? Well, not in my mind. I'm more of a social person. All right, so those are some of my biggest lessons learned the hard way, meaning I had to have a personal experience with them in order to learn those lessons and have them become a part of who I was and am moving forward. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about lessons learned the easy way, because there is an easy way to learn lessons and not make all the mistakes ourselves. All right, remember, think up and share one lesson that you've learned the hard way, that you had to learn through personal experience, in the comments below, so that we can learn from one another. Have an awesome day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.